DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Cool.
Okay, hey, I think we are back for segment number 2 tonight. And wouldn't you know, my microphone, I thought I adjusted it properly. Good evening and welcome if you are joining us for the first show tonight. We've got a variety of different shows going on. You can find all the links for all the shows from the whole week out at djntv.com/DJEDU as far as education, but EDU. So that's going on tonight, tomorrow night, and last night. And all the video links were there. Jeremy Landby's with me. Jeremy, a lot of you have seen, has been one of the guys covering trade shows and such with me. We're going to Mobile Beat and DJ Expo and NAMM and such. A lot of you may not know that Jeremy does a lot of school dances. Jeremy, if you were kind of describe the area in which you're doing a lot of the dances, because, you know, some markets are, like Arnaldo's down in Florida, and a larger market we just talked with Arnaldo. Give us the range of the type of schools that you perform at.
In North Dakota, Minnesota, a little bit into Wisconsin. I've done some stuff in South Dakota and a little bit in Iowa, and that's about it. Right in the upper Midwest. And
size of schools compared, because that's one of the things that, you can't. The premise of tonight's show, by the way, gang, is that that a lot of people say you just can't get a fair DJ rate from small schools, and that's basically, you'll hear throughout the show that we'll be kind of alluding and talking about that. The size of the schools you perform at, Jeremy, kind of give us a range from small to big.
Okay. The smallest school that I've got booked this year is about 30 students going to prom. And the largest school, about 850 students at the prom dance. So a big variety in there in between the two. The 850 student is an exception that's really large for us, or my company and my team. We're averaging about 200 students at a prom dance. The smaller schools, like I said, about 30. We did a prom a few years ago with about 25 students at prom. Same school, just not as many students that particular year because the class sizes are so small. So it really varies in between those two, but a majority of our proms are 100 to possibly 200 students. That's about it.
So the title we're going to talk about how to communicate with these smaller schools, because I work on some smaller schools, not quite as small as the ones you're referring to. First off, how do you get in the door to even get time to talk to the kids when you're dealing with a small school like that?
All right. So first thing you do is you figure out who the advisor is for prom. Most schools have got the same advisor from year to year. Some schools switch it out from year to year. So you're dealing with a different advisor every year. But for majority of the schools that I work with, we're working with the same advisor year in and year out. So if I'm going to a new school that I've never entertained at before, or if I get a call from a school, but maybe a student saw us the year before and said, we've got to book these guys for prom. They were great. How do we get a hold of them? Well, the advisor usually gets a hold of us. Then I set up a meeting with the advisor and basically take it from there. I ask a series of questions with that advisor, and how many students you've got going to prom, how big are the classes, what have you liked about previous proms, what haven't you liked, and I'm working beside that advisor as much as possible throughout the entire season before prom to answer questions, of course, and help them along in the process of having a fantastic prom dance.
So now, does it differentiate between a smaller school and the amount of, and I'm going to call it hand-holding, just so we have a visual of what that working with them. Do you find you do more hand-holding with a smaller school or with a larger school?
It really varies. I've got some schools that large schools even that give me a call, and the advisor is brand new to this, and she's like, or he's like, gosh, it's my first year. I've heard you've been at this for a long time. Help us out here. What can you do? Number one, well, we'll get into cost a little bit later, but they try to figure out fundraising, and they talk about how to keep the students at the prom dance the entire night, and what I've got for ideas for that to happen. Did I answer your question?
The idea. They vary. I mean, I guess it's probably more not so much based on size of school when it comes to the hand-holding side of it. It's on the let's talk. Are experienced advisors, are they more into the wanting you to be involved, or is it the inexperienced advisors that want to have you more involved?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I've worked with a number of advisors throughout the years. For instance, at a school that has had us now for, I don't know, probably 15 years. And that advisor and I probably talk back and forth at least 30 times before prom. We at least have at least a couple of meetings face to face where we talk about the promotion for prom, and that's something we can talk about. And the hand holding, it just varies. A lot of the schools that we've been at for so long, they know our show, they know exactly what to expect. So there isn't a whole lot of that happening anymore, because they're like, well, Jeremy, you take care of everything for us, and we can expect this from you. There's a couple of the schools, that some of our largest accounts, that I never meet with anymore, because we're all set. I mean, I print off their promotional posters for prom, and I don't even have to meet with them from year to year, because they know exactly what they're getting, and they know they know what to expect out of my company.
Sure. So obviously we'll kind of take the schools that you're not meeting with or not engaging that way off to the side. With some of the schools where you're doing more hand-holding, are you working more with the advisor, or are you working with the students, or a combination thereof?
Combination thereof, but a majority of the times it's with the advisor. That advisor is key. That's the decision maker on pretty much everything. I've met with some advisors where, I mean, they're totally in charge. They don't even get the students involved at all. They're like, all right, we're going with you, and this is our budget, and which package can we pick out? Okay, perfect, we're booked. There's other schools where the advisor is very hands-off, and they're like, well, our students are kind of in charge of this. This is their prom, and you're going to be meeting with them this year. They're going to be setting up your playlist. They're going to be answering and asking the questions for you. So there's a couple of schools that I meet with. I met with actually a couple of weeks ago, where I just met with students. I didn't meet with any advisor at all. The advisor, I think, showed up at the end of the meeting, but it was a majority of myself and the students meeting. So the junior class in our area, the junior class is usually the class that puts on the prom for the seniors. So it's junior and senior prom here in Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota. Yeah. So
when you're meeting with the kids and you're having a conversation, how much of your time with the kids is kind of getting their input, thoughts, and such to design things at, or how much of it is you presenting options to them?
Okay, that's a great question. If it's a school that I've never entertained at before, and maybe a couple of the students have seen us at a different school, it's a lot of presentation. It's a lot of showing pictures of other proms, videos from other proms that we've done in the past. We booked a very year that never would have the budget to get my company for prom.
Is that a small school?
I met with the entire junior class. Probably. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you kind of you broke up there for a second. So you met with a smaller school, I'm guessing this is?
Yep, very small school that we've never DJ'd or entertained for their school at prom before. I met with the entire junior class. There was about 25 students in the room, and which is a lot of students. Usually I meet with 5 to maybe 10 students tops.
Sure.
But I'm meeting with all of these students. They've got a lot of questions for me, and they're